So after last week's episode, I kind of like went through this whole like being introspective and kind of like just looking at my life and shit because I've been like all the goals that I've set, I've been hitting them, shit like that, like, you know, healthier life, happier life, mentally, physically, shit like that.
Right.
And I kind of had this weird moment of I don't know if existential crisis is the right word or internal crisis, but like I couldn't. To be like dramatic about it, I didn't recognize the person in the mirror, kind of thing, and not that
super gay.
Super gay, yeah. Just like, who is that guy? Who is that guy? Who is that guy?
Let's all get together.
Yeah. You're all so hot. Jeez. Narcissistic appeal. No, but because usually like Dwayne knows this about me. For like longest time, I've always had like this anger inside of me, and like I just let it out all the time. It's just kind of my first reaction is anger most of the time. And because I've been doing all these things, you know, like I've told you guys, microdosing, working out, just trying to go more towards positive instead of complaining all the time about my shit.
Right.
And it's gotten to a point where it's like I don't have that anymore. I don't really have that anger anymore, and I started questioning myself, like, who am I without the anger? Mm-hmm. Do I want to be? And I got this, like, I've been hitting my weight goals. I took all these notes and shit. Let's see. So all this shit was happening, and then one day, like, out of nowhere, I was thinking about it a lot, and I get up, and I was supposed to go to Dwayne's to work out, and, like, on the drive over there, I'm thinking about this shit, and I get, like, woozy. And like shit starts to blur, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" So I just get off the freeway.
That thing you're speeding on.
Damn it! Shit.
We'll do these new freeway commercials for y'all. I got insurance covered.
Freeway insurance for babies. Make sure you're covered. Just so dumb. But anyways, I started like thinking like, why the fuck am I feeling this way? Like I feel like I was fine before this shit. Before I started thinking too heavy on this shit.
Right.
And I was coming to the conclusion by myself that like I don't know who I am anymore. And like if you don't know who you are, then your brain starts to like panic, and it wants to go back and latch on to the person it once knew, even if that person was toxic, did bad habits, did horrible shit. It's gonna latch on to that because that's safe. That's what you know, and change is scary, you know, for everyone. Like no matter what you think, change is always scary.
Right.
So it was like my brain was doing that, and I was just like, I don't like this. I don't like the little rollback, and for no good reason. It wasn't like anyone was trying to tell me like, "Oh, you've changed, man, and you're different, you're weird," and shit like that. It was just myself thinking, "Fuck, I don't know who I am without the anger. I don't know who I am with this, weight loss. I don't know who I am with this and that." And it just feels like you're losing yourself. And like, what do you do in that? It's this transition period from making healthy choices. And again, we've talked about it a lot to where we're so used to negative shit that positive shit's so fucking weird and foreign to us that we kind of reject it.
Right.
And like we're slowly learning to accept that shit. So I think it was like too much positivity was coming at me at once, and my body didn't know what to do with it. So it was just like freaking out.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I had a little bit of a rollback. Like I started eating like shit for like 2 or 3 days, and all this progress that I made weight wise and shit like that went away just like that. You know, I have to work at it again and crap like that. But I don't know, man. Like, have you ever had something like that? Just where you kind of lose the vision of who you thought you were?
Yeah. The most recent was 2 years ago now. Got into an incident and whatever, and then the incident kind of took me to like I felt like that I had to like fight from literally that position that we think we're always in, which is like we're the underdog and whatever. That was like the first time where I was like, holy shit, I'm the underdog, and it's like like no one really thinks that I'm gonna make it out of this and whatever. And then after like I end up beating the situation, like the first, honestly, it took me that whole year. Like after that, and we've had conversations about this. After that, I felt like what the fuck am I now? Because it wasn't what like happened with that situation. It was just like I was so angry that I couldn't stop myself from doing it a different way. And I kept like replaying like, I could have did this, or I could have did it like that, or I could have waited, or
especially with all the knowledge and experience you've had gained to that point, right?
Right. And and I was so.
Did it feel like someone was taking control of your body?
In that moment, it literally felt like I wasn't in control, and then I let
past me.
Yeah, like get to that point where it was like now you back now like all this time you spent trying to beat this person, and you get to a certain point where you're almost there, and then it takes one like knock on the door from that person to get you right back to like where the fuck you were. And that's how I felt, because I was, there was a lot of moments with that situation that it was dark times, because no one really knew until it was over like what was gonna happen. But I felt that 100%, because you like it was so hard not to be like, this is just gonna be me now, and I was putting so many things on top of it. Like, nah, like this is, my family's wired this way. Like we wired this way. We built for this and that and everything like that. And there's a lot of truth to that. But the way I approach everything, I've always tried to approach it like, all right, what's the pros and cons? Let's think about this. Let's think about how you're going to do it. And let's be like, let's do it the smart way, but still get your point across. And that was the first time where I was like, didn't get, like the smart way was like it never popped in my head. It was just
the guy, whoever was knocking on the door before, just like fucking broke down the door to like push you out of the way, and was like my turn.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, we in here now. Yeah. And I felt that, and I just felt so. I guess a better word would be hopeless, because no one, like, it's hard to explain it, because everyone's like, yo, like you won. It is what it is. Who cares now, right? And it's like, yeah, but the thing is, now that. Oh,
you only won because of the old self that you tried to kill.
Exactly. And like now it's like, oh, I do need this person that, or at least you feel that way. Like I need this person that I try to not always bring out, or I try to hide and everything like that. And it took a while. It took a lot of conversation.
It's one of like the greatest lies we kind of tell ourselves, that, oh, we need this toxic part because that's blah, blah, blah. It's just like, you really don't. And I get what Dwayne's saying. It's like this, even though like he won everything and it came out all like on top and everything, there's like this small part of yourself that's, you're disappointed in yourself, even though you're getting all this praise from everybody. It's like, it's like, yeah, I won, but not the way my new self wanted to.
Right.
It's like I could have done it in a way smarter way, way more clever way, and it would have been great, and this person would have just never been in control and shit. It's just, it's just disappointment in yourself, which is the worst, really.
Yeah, and like everything from like that point like slipped, and I had conversations with my wife about it and everything, and I was just like, it got to the point where it was so like bad. I had talked to her at the beginning of like around this time last year, and I said that this is literally before like the pandemic and everything, but I was like, I feel like my mortality is like, it was like this weird feeling of like something's about to happen that only I know is about to happen, but it's only going, like, I felt like, oh yeah, my time's up, because I just rolled the dice like so many times now that it's like, oh yeah, your time's finally about to happen. And I was telling her, I was like, it's the weirdest thing, because I feel very calm. And of course she was worried, because she was like, what the hell are you talking about? And I just like, and then there were so many dominoes effect after that, like her father passed, and like pandemic, and I was like from about January to about April, I was just sitting at home being like, yep, like either I'm gonna get this shit and die, or something's gonna happen, or something that I thought I would have been able to avoid is gonna happen. I'm cool with it, but I'm like, and
it's it was calm before the storm shit.
Yeah, and it was like the weirdest thing, but the thing that was crazier is that it never happened. Nothing ever happened.
So I guarantee you, with what Dwayne is saying, the whole like calm before the storm and all that stuff, and nothing gonna happen, like, thankfully, right? I guarantee if Dwayne didn't work really hard to regain control of the new self, and rather than just let this past self, take the wheel, and shit like that. Whatever that ominous feeling he was feeling, it would have probably came into fruition.
Right.
So it takes like we say this like, oh, it's just words, and we did it, Right. But no, fucking don't get us wrong. It takes a lot of work. It's exhausting to maintain this positive aspect and keep moving in a positive direction, and for you to regain control of that horrible shit the other person did. Yeah,
because at the end of the day, your greatest cheerleader is yourself, but also you're for most people, your greatest critic is yourself, right? So it is very hard to look yourself in the mirror and be like, nah, I can't let you, because literally I was facing like this weird thing in my head where I was like, I'm about to get married right here. Here's the date. But you have literally, 10 months to make it to that date without fucking it up. And I was like, I know I could fuck it up. Like that feeling. I'm like, I just know it too. Because I'm like, there's so much shit. And like, this shit to me ain't over. And there's like all this stuff and everything like that. And I just kept sitting there and I was just like, it was a lot. Like, literally, honestly, people are going to think this is crazy. I thank the Lord for the pandemic. I thank the Lord. If everything was normal, whatever, I definitely feel like I would have at least ran into some sort of resistance.
Probably would have been out and about doing some stuff.
And, some sort of resistance last year. And I know that I'm not going to take the, I'm not going to take the quote unquote smart route to it and be like, let's walk away from this. Like, I'm going to do something stupid and then we're back in some stupid shit, right?
And only because of the first incident, because after the first incident, it's a little easier for that person to take control,
right? Without
more time to shut them down,
right? Because now you feel like everything is justified. Mm-hmm. It's justified even more,
right?
So it's like it's looking at situations from that perspective. I completely understand you because. Yeah, coming from, and I hate saying like the hood and everything because it goes for anybody.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, but coming from like these type of areas and shit, there ain't a lot of winning. There isn't. So we are used to negativity. We are used to the idea of, fuck it. If I don't make it, at least all my homies around me ain't gonna make it. So we're all cool together and we're safe and everything. And then you start to look at shit from a different perspective, and it usually takes a win to get you to that point, whatever that win is. It could be a new career, new relationship, whatever. It takes one positive thing to happen for your mind to just click and whatever, right?
It's kind of like the fog is lifted and you kind of see the people you're around and you're like, oh, these people have given up and they want to just lose and stay here, and now you don't fit. Like, now you feel like you don't fit in this place, and again, you're alone, and being alone in a confusing ass time, no one to talk to, and if you do talk to somebody, they don't really understand.
Yeah.
And it sucks because you thought these people as your friends, and they don't understand you, and they're looking at you weird now. And again, imagine you have to fight through all that stuff to become the person you want to be,
right? And
shit like that. So it's gonna be fucking weird. And this, again, that transition period, it's like being in two worlds at once. It doesn't work. It's very is it disorienting, shit like that. And I'm telling you, man, I when I was like feeling faint and shit like that, I was like, man, this is not cool. This is not cool. And then I fell off, but I fell off in just a eating kind of shit way, and that kind of stuff is easy to recover from. You just gotta reestablish your discipline. And things that were once easy are a little harder now. Like yesterday, I was working out Dwayne, and very simple leg day.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the least amount of workouts we've done for a leg day.
Right.
And I was tired as shit. I was exhausted. I was like, man, I felt like my ass was kicked. And it was only because of that. It was only because I'm working back from like the stumble that I had.
Right.
And shit like that. So again, it's possible. Don't let when things like that happen, don't let it just make you go all the way back and just fuck up all the progress you made.
Yeah.
Just accept it. Accept that, again, that little part of you is still there. And if you want to spin it in a positive way, be like, man, that shit really got tiny. That voice or whatever became really, really tiny compared to all this shit. So to reestablish that, it should push you even further into, let's make that voice even tinier and tinier to the point where it's non-existent.